Hello everyone, welcome back to Strategy in Progress, where today we'll learn how to survive the economic chaos of Stronghold Definitive Edition's original economic campaign with minimal emotional scarring. So grab your cheese, your bread, and maybe a bit of your sanity, because here we go. Mission 1, Victory Feast. The objective is to acquire 200 cheese and 24 ale, all while wondering if anyone here knows what a balanced diet looks like. To begin with, place your keep near the tree line, leaving space for the economy. Add a couple of granaries. We're going to make room for those eager future wine and cheese hoarders by adding stockpiles and hovels. And we will become the Bezos of medieval timber by constructing at least 10 or more woodcutter camps. And like Bezos, we'll pretend to be generous to our workers and set the taxes low. We don't want popularity to go below that 55 to 60 range. Let's set up our first 318 bakery chain. We're going to add 3 to 4 dairy farms as well to sustain food until the bakery chain is efficient. And then we set up 4 hops farms and 6 breweries because it's not a feast without questionable choices in ale after all. And as things are starting to smooth out, expand with more woodcutter camps and hovels, because overpopulation and deforestation are going to be your new hobbies. Stop cheese consumption completely. Ban villagers from eating cheese once the bread is coming in, and watch that cheese pile up like it's a forgotten relic, and so your villagers can no longer feel their feelings. Fill every last spot with dairy farms. Your villagers don't get to taste the cheese, but you'll sleep soundly knowing it's there. Mission 2, the Long Valley. Our objective, collect 24 bows and 16 swords while fending off wild animals and raiders. Oh, and the market is available, but selling wood? Nah. Too easy, don't pass go, don't collect $200. So position your keep southeast near the road sign. You'll have front row seats to your own downfall. Seriously, this mission took a lot of restarts to get right. Place the granary west of the river, just north of the rocky ledge. It's a strategic spot, or so you'll tell yourself. Add stockpiles and an armory near the keep, ensuring you're fully stocked for future disappointments. Set up the barracks near the dry land south of the granary. Train a handful of archers that you're given at the beginning of the mission and take out the bears before they take you out.
Ben, I have a question.
No, Ben, no!
Add woodcutter huts near where you cleared the bears, because nothing says conquest like taking the land and building right on top of former wildlife. Place orchards near the granary and optimize space. Move the archers west to kill incoming wolves. There will be 2 waves because one wasn't enough to ruin your day. Add more hovels to the southwest and more lumber camps to the west. Keep adding orchards to the west until you've turned your land into one big fruit salad. Wall off the easternmost side from the river to the keep, adding a gate for villagers to pass. And prepare to watch your fortified wall fall at the worst possible time. Build a market on the dried out hill that was too special to be part of your fruit salad land and start taxing it. To make your workers forget about the taxes, introduce hops farms and a lineup of breweries. Basically, the medieval answer to pain and suffering. Station your archers at the gate and keep, preparing for the inevitable raiders. A few arrows, a shoddy wooden wall, and a lot of hope is what they're gonna need to get through the rest of this mission. Add fletchers and swordsman workshops near the armory. Train a few archers, but try to keep them below 12, roughly speaking. Any more and they might unionize. Realize the disappointing value of gold by buying iron at the market so you can make your swordsmen. Consider adding a tower west of the granary and orchards, stationing archers to deal with the random wolf attacks. No, they don't stop even after the first 2 waves. Wolves need to eat too, and fruit salad isn't on their menu. Keep buying iron and produce the swords and bows. Just don't train soldiers unless you enjoy failing objectives. Leave the weapons in the armory. Learn that one the hard way. Mission 3, Gathering the Harvest. Objective, achieve a population of 200 and accumulate 6,400 gold. This is the closest you're going to get to a medieval utopia, that is until the rabbits show up. Place your keep near the eastern trees just south of the river. Add a granary to the west and a couple of stockpiles near the keep. Add 8 woodcutter camps in the nearby trees. Prepare, once again, to become the deforestation hero no one asked for. But this time, think of our gold as carbon credits. We could truly become a hero this time. Scatter hovels across dried up land in the west and rocky terrain in the north, the best location for a bunch of timeshares. Set up your first 318 bakery chain, and then add another 8 woodcutter camps near tree lines across the map. Carbon credits will make this okay. It doesn't matter if we chop down the world. Build a second 318 bakery chain and add more wheat farms. If rabbits get out of control, we will start preparing to deal with them. Yes, rabbits. It's as ridiculous as it sounds, the only animal that would ever consider eating wheat. Introduce a low tax rate, but don't let popularity drop below 55 to 60. Station 2 Fletcher shops and start training archers. These guys will be on rapid patrol, which is a prestigious position in this particular mission. Add 2 quarries and 4 mining camps for the oxen to carry the stone back. Build a 3rd and 4th 318 bakery chain, adding extra wheat farms as necessary to deal with lost crops and increasing distance. Villagers won't thank you, but they will get to eat. Trade wood at the market. Congratulations, you're now the JP Morgan of a medieval chase bank. Stone isn't just for castles, it's for buying yourself a shred of hope. Since you're already an environmental disaster, you might as well lean into it and set up some oil rigs too and sell that as well. Of course, this step is optional. Increase rations and raise taxes. Add apothecaries if disease shows up. This doesn't need to be rushed. After all, a few sick villagers does add to the realism. Raise taxes so you hit that 6,400 gold mark. Mission 4, a deterrent. Objective is to stockpile 700 bread, 360 stone, 80 maces, 80 leather armor, and complete a castle wall, all while fending off invasions and putting out fires, quite literally. So to start with, sell those larger stone towers to the south and west of your base. Use that stone to build a tower in the northeast, adding a wall and gate to block off the area. Add an armory near the stockpile and barracks near the southern wall. Train 5 archers and station them at the wall. They'll hold off the bandits with all the confidence of some unpaid interns. Set up some lumber camps, space out hovels in the northwest above the stone barrier. Keep them far apart unless you want to fight a medieval forest fire with buckets of water. Add 3 wheat farms east of the keep and start the first 318 bakery chain. Welcome to our bread-based strategy. Throw in some orchards as a backup food source. These are just here so villagers don't complain about starving while wheat gets set up. Place wells liberally around woodcutter camps and farms, because this is your medieval hell and the fires will come for you. Group bakeries in squares of 4, with wells in between each of these 4 bakeried squares. Who would have thought bread was spontaneously combustible, but in this land it certainly is. Add as many iron mines as you can to the south and west. Start these before a quarter of your timer runs out or prepare for failure. Add a few dairy farms with wells nearby to keep production close to the armory. We won't be making cheese this time, our cow friends will be protecting us. Keep the tanneries nearby when it's time to start making those. Construct quarries and stone mines when possible. Stone is life, especially the life of your ever-crumbling defenses. It's also money, in the event that you need more of it. Extend the armory and granaries and plop a market down somewhere strategic. Add another 318 bakery chain with more wells for fire insurance. Like the bakeries, create blacksmith and tanner workshops in groups of 4, and add wells in between those. Add a couple of Fletcher workshops and build archers if your defense needs it. It's best to keep the archer numbers below 20. Consider adding extra wheat farms to deal with any sort of pestilence. At least this time, it isn't rabbits. Begin creating a wall around the base, but leave a few gaps in the areas to let villagers in and out. And with the world burning around us, there's no better time to begin setting up ale production. Buy an appropriate number of wells and a 466 hops ale setup. Farms can go to the southwestern corner. Add an additional couple of 318 bakery chains. At the end, the population for me was over 200. Most of the money was raised by taxes, by making an excess of food, and of course, don't forget to build the wall around your base. That wall, you know. Mission 5, a castle in the marsh. Objective, accumulate 10,000 gold, maintain cruel policies, and keep your villagers just happy enough not to revolt. Basically like you're running an Amazon warehouse. Delete some exits in the western and northern walls of your stronghold, because why have an escape plan when you can have controlled chaos? Lumber camps near the woods, in the south, north, and western corners of the map. Yes, we're back to deforestation, and at this point the trees know you by name. Place a few hovels outside the walls. Remember, only the wealthy can live in gated communities. Build at least 3 farms inside the walls, preferably towards the north and east, and add an apple orchard to the west. Keep the food inside your fortress. You can't trust those peasants outside. Place a market outside the outer walls as well, because nothing screams trustworthy economy like a market in the danger zone. Buy food if your people start to starve. This is part of our grand economic strategy for making as much money as possible and giving the barest minimum back to our people. Your personal wealth is paramount, but this can't be achieved alone, not that you should ever admit that. Add a mill inside the inner walls. You're gonna bake bread like your victory depends on it, because it does. Start deleting parts of the inner walls of the keep. More space for bakeries, less space for hope. Place bakeries near the keep and don't stop until you've filled almost all the space. But save space for a second mill and add more wheat farms to the outside. Set up a second 318 bakery chain, more or less. You also want to set up apothecaries near the gate of the inner keep. We run the kind of establishment that says you can take a sick day, but these buildings will make sure your workers only get sick of not working. Keep taxes and food consumption high and monitor popularity. A bread riot is all that stands between you and total domination. Add oil rigs after maxing out bakeries and sell oil for extra cash. Leave no corner of your land untouched and without dignity. Sell any extra resources, but remember that taxes will do the heavy lifting. Your gold hoard is built on the tears of commoners, and you can only make them cry so long as they keep getting fed. Expand to the area outside the inner walls with bakeries as needed. At this point, things should be getting pretty crowded. Ensure the population stays under 60. Adding fearsome monuments to torture and suffering to keep the fear factor at 5 will be necessary if you go above 50 population. At the very least, this is a kingdom though that's going to eat well, as that setting for food consumption should be maxed out. Once stabilized, this mission will snowball. Your economy hums, taxes pour in, and your villagers, poorer and fatter than they've ever been, will still be left wondering if freedom is overrated. The Stronghold economic campaign complete, you're richer, wiser, and you've probably never been hated more. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment with how you approach depressing your villagers in Stronghold. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.